Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in this video today, we are doing another edition of Impractical furniture and home decor items. This is where I go into a little bit of detail on some sort of items that I see appear over and over, especially on social media, things that we are putting in our homes that maybe are a little impractical. They don't make a whole lot of sense. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't put these in your home at all. They might work for you. It's just pointing out that sometimes these things are a little bit impractical and they don't make a whole lot of sense. So this is really just kind of getting a little bit of awareness around some of these items so that you can make a more informed decision on what you put into your own home. But first I want to talk about today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. So Skillshare is a huge online learning community where you learn real life skills taught by people who actually work in their respective fields. I'm currently watching Jonathan Van Ness, and I've been a big fan of Jonathan for years. Jonathan actually did a hilarious series called Game of Thrones that I absolutely loved. This is actually years ago, and I've been in love with Jonathan ever since. But recently Jonathan did a class on self-care that will leave you feeling really inspired and really just learning about things like home spa treatments and daily routines. So you'll have a lot of fun hanging out with Jonathan Van Ness and learning a lot as well. The great thing about Skillshare that I love is how the classes are structured. You're able to take the classes at your own pace. When and how you want to learn is completely up to you. The first 1,000 of my viewers to sign up through the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial to Skillshare. So click on the link in the description. Now let's get back to that video. So let's get started. And the first one is going to be farmhouse style dining benches. I have mentioned before that we had a dining bench growing up as a kid, and I don't like them for a few reasons because they are quite impractical. First of all, I will say they can be practical in the sense that if you have children, theoretically you can cram, like, I don't know, 6 3-year-olds or something on a dining bench rather than giving them all their own chair. Sure, that might make sense, but I can say as a kid that had a dining bench, I hated it, and I'll tell you why in a second because of how impractical it is. They can also be kind of nice to break up the seating. I personally think there are better ways to do that. So if you don't want all the same chair, you can kind of have a dining bench, and I think that's really where it kind of got started, to try something a little bit different. I actually really like the repetition that comes from using the same dining chair, or I like using some dining chairs that do not have armrest and some that do. I think that's much better at sort of achieving that look of sort of breaking up the design a little bit as opposed to a dining bench, because they are impractical for a few reasons. First of all, when they are up against the wall, when the person in the middle needs to get up, everybody needs to get up. That's awful. Number two, oftentimes they do not have any back support. I can't stand that. I don't want to sit there and have a meal and not be able to have some sort of back support while I am there. And I know you're just like, oh, okay, kids don't care about that because again, you got all those little 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds or whatever. You know, I still think they do. Those kids are always going to fall off the back anyway. So you know what I mean? Give them a little bit of back support. I think it makes a whole lot more sense to have an actual chair rather than sort of these dinky benches that people can fall off of. And in specifically looking at the farmhouse style ones that actually do have a back, oftentimes they're not padded, which makes them even more uncomfortable than some of the other dining chair options that are out there. And of course, to top it all off, if you've got several people on one dining bench and they all have to get out, or one person has to get out or whatever, they want to tuck themselves in or out, you have to like, do it as a team? Like everybody has to like shimmy forward or shimmy backwards for one person to go to the bathroom. Honestly, I just don't really like these. I think they're super impractical and I don't care for them for all those reasons. If you really love sort of the picnic bench style of like the farmhouse where you want the really big, beautiful farmhouse table because that's your design style, totally fine. I actually really do quite like the big farmhouse table. Actually, it's one of the features of farmhouse design that I actually quite enjoy, is that really big communal family table. But I don't think looking like these picnic benches is really the way to go. I think the best bet is to choose some more elegant, refined options that are in a full chair that I'm going to show and link down below that I think are much better than going for a dining bench personally. Okay, next up is going to be chrome door handles and mirrored switch plates. So I put them in the same category because they're basically kind of achieving the same thing, and that is we're talking about fingerprints, something people don't consider. So chrome handles in my actual last apartment, which was a rental, so I didn't really switch out all the door handles or anything, I didn't bother, but we had chrome handles and they really do drive you nuts because they just never look good because they're constantly fingerprint magnet. And the reason I've singled those two out, because chrome is a fine material, right? We use it all the time for lots of different reasons. Chrome, I think, is a perfectly fine metal to use in lots of different areas of your home. Maybe it's like a towel bar or a towel ring or a toilet paper holder or whatever in the bathroom. You know, light fixtures can be in chrome. All that stuff is fine. If you like chrome, great. It's a great material. You might like it. It might fit into your style. Fine, fine, fine. But Chrome is a fingerprint magnet, and if you are looking at places and surfaces where you are going to be frequently touching, like door handles or those mirrored switch plates, all they will do is attract fingerprints and they will never look clean. They will drive you nuts. I can't stand those. I think for the mirrored switch plates, I think honestly you're just better off going with basic white. And I think for door handles, you're better off going with satin nickel, for example, is a metal that is much better at resisting fingerprints than shiny, glossy chrome. So if you really want that sort of silvery look, I would consider something like brushed nickel or another material in the sort of same vein, especially if it's going to be like brushed finish or a satin finish or something like that. It's going to resist those fingerprints a lot better than shiny chrome. Okay, third up on my list, and this is kind of a little bit of a joke, but that would be clocks that don't have numbers. You know, like the one I have behind me. I included this one a little bit as a joke for a couple of reasons. Because first of all, number one, they are impractical. Like they're not really good at telling time. And by the way, I always get a kick out of you guys in the comment section that try to figure out what time I film at. And I've purposely not really answered the question because I like the mystery. Like what time is it actually? Is it 3 o'clock in the morning? Am I filming this at 3 in the afternoon? Is it 11? Is it noon? Like who even knows? Because does the minute hand work? Does the clock work? I love the mystery behind it. But anyway, that's not really the point. The point is that, you know what? These are quite impractical. They're usually decorative. I will say this to defend my own clock for a minute. They are impractical. They don't make a ton of sense for actually being able to tell time all that well. But you know what? We have lots of different places that you can tell time on your phone, on your watch, whatever. I've included this because I basically just like it. I think it looks cool and I basically treat it like it's a piece of art. But it is really worth mentioning that if you are using these clocks actually to be able to tell time, they're not very good at doing that. Take it from me, it's always a little bit of a mystery trying to figure out what the time is with these things because, you know, there's no numbers to really speak of. And there's so many of them out there. I think they are kind of cool looking, which is why I like mine. You might not like it, that's cool too, but I really like them. But I also embrace the fact that they're incredibly impractical and they don't really make sense as a great way to tell time. And then the other reason I included in this list is just to say, yes, that there are reasons you can have impractical items in your home, but who cares if they're impractical if you love them, right? So again, that's just sort of to say that even if you love all the things that I do with these impractical design videos, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't choose them or put them in your own home. I even do, but just to point out that, yeah, sometimes things are a little impractical, but we like them anyway. And by the way, can I just say for the million people that have asked, that clock is from CB2, but it's discontinued from years ago, so please stop asking because I literally get that question like 100 times every month. Okay, next up on my list, impractical items, is going to be open glass pendants. So these, again, these are popular. I've recommended them. I linked them. They're fun. I linked some down below that I really do enjoy. I do like them. I've owned these in my own home, but they are really impractical for cleaning, especially the ones where you can't get your hand fully inside. I'm actually gonna link the one that I used to have in my old apartment. It is super impractical. They do not make sense to clean. They're not easy to clean. It's possible with like a feather duster, but trust me, it is actually quite irritating to clean these things. So because it is a glass light fixture, it is going to attract a lot of dust. That's just the reality of it. And because again, it is a light fixture, it's going to show that dust all the time. So you need a really good way to be able to clean it properly. These things are not that easy to clean. So the light fixture, for example, that I have back there, super easy to clean. Quick wipe down, it's good to go, right? But the glass enclosures, the ones where, you know, they have a very narrow opening at the bottom, are really, really annoying to clean. You can't really get your hand fully inside there. The best that you can basically do is use kind of like a feather duster and hope for the best, but it never quite gets them to be fully clean. So if you are a person where that drives you crazy, I would consider a closed fixture or even just avoiding those glass bauble fixtures altogether, or have one that is open enough that it's relatively easy to be able to clean out the inside. Okay, and then next up on my list, and this one hurts because I have recommended this so many times. And again, I'm not saying don't get it. I stand by my recommendations, but these are a little bit impractical, and that is jute rugs. Oh, I know, I talk about jute rugs a lot, and they are really great. I will say, I really like a jute rug. I love that they are economical. I love that they are a beautiful natural material. I love the warmth that they bring to a space. I do think they're durable to a certain degree, right? Like it's a really tough material. But they are impractical for a couple of reasons. So first of all, some people find, and some people have mentioned this to me before, and I think it is worth pointing out, if you have bare feet and you are stepping on your jute rug, for example, maybe you put it in a bedroom, like it's underneath your bed, that it's not the most comfortable material underfoot, right? So that is first thing to consider. Like really go and see what a jute rug is before you buy one on Amazon or IKEA or whatever. I would really consider like going in and actually feeling the material and and think about what it would feel like to have on your feet, because sometimes these jute rugs, although beautiful, are a little bit uncomfortable. Now, if you wear shoes all the time, or it's like a front hall entrance or whatever, and it's going to, you know, usually people aren't going to walk on there with bare feet, then it might not be that much of an issue. But what could be an issue is the amount of like weird dust and particulates, I'm going to say, that do fly off of a jute rug. If you have a jute rug and you sit it down and you leave it for a couple of weeks, naturally the little fibers are going to wear off and you get the little sort of dust particles that come off because it is a natural material. When you lift that jute rug up, inevitably you are going to see a whole pile of dust and dirt that's under there. And on top of that, some people do find, depending on the rug, that little strands of the jute or the dirt or the dust or whatever does tend to kind of accumulate, not just under the rug, but also around it, and it starts to kind of drive them crazy. So yes, that is something that is not all that practical if you are a person that is really bothered by sort of the dust and the particulates that kind of fly off of these jute rugs. I still do recommend them though, because I do still like that they are, as I said, a natural material, a beautiful color. You know, they're economical, they're usually really well priced, but there are some maintenance issues and some cleaning issues and maybe even some comfort issues that are definitely worth considering. So that's it for me for today, you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I'm gonna link here to my playlist for impractical furniture and home decor items. I've talked about a lot of things like really low furniture, the all white kitchen, right? Those sorts of things that look beautiful on social media, but might not make sense in real life for you. So go and check out those videos and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks, bye.